Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Enneagram 2s. And so if you've ever taken one of those tests and came out as a 2, or if someone's ever told you you were a 2, or if you know a 2, this video is for you. My name is Enneagram Ephraim, and today I'm going to be your Enneagram coach. And so today we're going to be diving into how does the 2s look at the world? How do they respond to it? What are their motivations? And what does the Bible speak about it? And so to describe an Enneagram 2, they usually are called the supportive advisor. And so these people usually want to give helpful advice, but also can be called a befriender. They make great friends and want to be your friend. And so they are described as thoughtful people because they always go out of their way for others. They are thinking about others first. They go to bed, wake up, thinking about the people around them, the people they care about. They are also very generous with their time. They will always give up their needs for others. They're also called demonstrative, demonstrative, I'm always getting that word wrong, but it's showing a strong feeling or affection towards others. If you pay attention to a 2, you never have to guess what their feelings are for people because they wear their emotions on their sleeve. And they have no problem showing love and affection to the ones that they consider their friends. They also can be called people-pleasing because they care deeply about how others perceive and think about them. And lastly, they can become possessive people because they want others to love, like, and have a strong affection the way that they do towards others. So they can sometimes be possessive of people because they go out of their way for others and they want others to go out of the way for them. Now, the core motivations of a 2, like all the other, there's 4 basic motivations. There's the core fear. Now, this is a thing emotionally that they are running away from, either consciously or unconsciously. And then there's the core desire. This is a thing that they are hoping to obtain. And then there's the core weakness. This is what they use to obtain what they're desiring. However, too many times they actually don't get a true form of what they're desiring. It's always a false version of it. Then there's something called a core longing. This is the longing of their heart. This is what they truly are after. But too many times they'll settle for what they desire. And so jumping into the core fear is being rejected, unwanted, being thought as worthless, needy, insignificant, dispensable, and unworthy of love. Now, one of the fears, one of the big ones is being rejected because they have no problem going out of their way for others. And so a lot of their framework is, I'm going to do this in hopes that I'm accepted and not rejected. And at the same time, I don't want to be perceived as needy or clingy, but a lot of times that's what they come off as. And so when I say insignificant, because they want to be significant to others, because a lot of times 2s hold that same value that these people are significant in their lives. And so in hopes, they want others to receive that same thing and looked at them. And they don't want to be dispendable, just someone that can be, oh, this was great, you were here for a moment and now you're gone. They want people to always need them, and so that's why they will go out of their way a lot of times in hopes that I need you. You need to be a part of my life. And that's what 2s really hope for in that. And that goes into what they desire. And they want to be appreciated, they want to be loved, and they want to be wanted. And so one of the things is that when I say appreciated, a lot of times they don't want to be the center of attention. They don't want to be the person on the stage. They don't want to be the CEO. However, they do want to be the reason those people are there. And so they really want to hear, we or I couldn't have done this without you. And so too many times, that's how they want to be appreciated, the things that they do. And when they do feel appreciated, they're on cloud nine. And so again, twos twos really want to be liked. And they want to be liked by everybody, but not like, not always in a romantic sense, but they do want to have everyone around them to like them. And so sometimes they can come off as a little flirty or flattery because they have no problems using that as a tool to get people to like them. So they'll come off as giving tons of compliments to people. Now, when twos hear someone doesn't like them, there's two responses that go into their head. Oh, they just don't know me yet. Or they're thinking, I know what I can do to get this person to like me. And that's how they frame their world, is they want people to like them. Again, because if someone doesn't like me, I'm going to feel rejected. And then finally, their core weakness. The core weakness is called pride. And pride really, the definition of this is denying their own needs and emotions while focusing on the needs of others. And so this is where it can come off as a little bit manipulated situation sometimes, because this is where twos don't really have good boundaries and they cross boundaries. And they do that in the sense of they try to get people to recognize other people's needs. And a lot of times it can come off as that manipulative way in when they try to anticipate people's needs. Because really how pride works is deep down, they repress their emotions. A lot of times they don't even know what they're feeling, but they know what they're feeling. And so what happens is they try to deny themselves and what they want, but recognize what they need. And so this is usually people enjoy twos because they anticipate their needs. They focus their needs on others, and they go, oh, this person, I can tell they need another cup of coffee. So they go get them a cup of coffee, and they're like, oh, this is great. I was thinking about this, and that's how they anticipate it. And so in hopes to be appreciated, needed, and wanted. And so their manipulation comes off. They tie their manipulation, think of it like a present, and they put a nice bow on top to convince that this was actually a good thing, even though it's a little manipulation. And so the next level of that is a lot of times with their help, there's this invisible string. And when I say invisible string, because they don't even recognize there's a string. With their help, there's an invisible string attached to their help, because their hope is, I'm going to focus on your needs in hopes that you'll focus on mine so I don't have to. And then this is how the relationship works. But I always remind the twos that here's the problem. There's 8 other viewpoints out there, and they're not focusing on your needs. They're grateful that this is awesome. However, they're not focusing on your needs. And that's usually where some frustration in relationships come into play. Now, what twos really desire is their core longing of their heart is you are wanted and loved. And you can see how what they want to hear and experience, but I got to do all these things. I got to go out of my way to love people to get love. And that's always a problem. That's where the people pleasing. If I'm not pleasing, I can't get love. And so that's where their worth and love is tied with loving others. And so I always like to remind the twos, the Bible verse I have for them is always Zephaniah 3, verses 17. So chapter 3, verse 17. It says that the Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. I always like to pause there to remind the twos before you go help somebody. If Jesus isn't enough for them, for that individual, then whatever your help will bring will never be enough either. If that person doesn't love Jesus, they're definitely not going to love you, because you will never be enough. And you will have to exert yourself over and over again And eventually it'll get exhausting and frustrating, because if they can't allow Jesus in their life, they're not going to truly love you for just simply being you without you doing something. The verse continues. It says, He will take great delight in you. He will quiet you with His love. He will rejoice over you with singing. And so I like to remind the twos, before you go help anybody, you have to remember that God already delights in you and He rejoices over you. And that should help cut that invisible string, because if God's love isn't enough for you and you're trying to find it through people, their love will never be enough either. And that's where twos, they have to remember to embrace their identity in Christ. That will, and once you truly do that, that will allow you to genuinely love others without any expectations in return. And so to remind the twos that this is my encouragement for you. Above all else, God already loves you. God already wants you to be a part of His family, and not because you have done something for God, but because God, that's who God is, and that's who He loves is you. And so if there's anyone that is a Enneagram 2, or if you know a 2, I would love it that you would share this video. I would love it. See if anything below, you can comment below if anything has resonated with you about this. And I would encourage you to subscribe. And if you want to find more about the Enneagram, I'll have a free guide for you in the description. And so I'll be seeing you guys next time. Have a good day.